Hi, everybody. Today I want to talk to you about freedom and joy and these two words and how incorporating the essence of freedom and joy into our lives is excellent in theory and it's a good practice to have, but that it's not always easy. And it doesn't mean that when you're doing things from a place of joy or freedom or with the intent of bringing about more joy and freedom in your life, that it's not always easy. It's not like the easy way out. So we're going to kind of go into that for a minute. So basically, I came about the idea for this topic because my words for 2019 are freedom and joy. I decided, and it was last minute, I almost didn't think I was going to do the word of the year type thing. And it was towards the very end of 2018, I was like, you know what? No, freedom, that is my word. And then joy very quickly found its way into that because I feel like freedom and joy really go hand in hand together. So my intent, and maybe your intent as well, if you are trying to live a more freedom-filled, joyful life, is to do everything in a way that brings about more joy and freedom within my life or within your life. But again, this doesn't always come easy. So let's talk about some examples. So some examples are of, well, I'll get into examples in a minute. Living free and joyful. People may think like, oh, well, that means that you just get to do whatever you want whenever you want to. And no. So that's what we're going to kind of go into with some examples. It doesn't mean that you get to do whatever you want whenever you want. Sure. Would that make you feel pretty darn free and joyful? Probably. But then also it may have some downfalls too. If you're just doing whatever you want whenever you want, like take, for example, you not going to work. Like, I don't want to go to work today because I will feel joyful not going to work, and going to work makes me feel like I am not free. Well, then you get fired. You know, you may have a freedom-filled, joyful day not going to work, but then you may get fired, and then that's not very joyful or freedom-filled when you can't pay your bills and all of that. So basically, it's more about thinking of not necessarily what will make you feel free or joyful in that moment, but what will make you feel the most free and joyful in the long run. Sometimes it is about what makes you feel free and joyful in that exact moment, but I have been seeing, I mean, we're only 20 days into the year, and I'm already seeing how it's not always so much about the immediate results. It's about the long term. And it's also about doing things that we may not want to do right in that moment if the return is greater. So sometimes the effort that we put in may not be so great, but the return that we will get back is even greater. And I, for one, am more than willing to put in a little bit of work or do something that I don't really want to do if the return means that in the future I will feel even more freedom and joy than I would from not doing the thing. So for example, I don't like doing laundry. I don't like doing it. I don't think many people do. I don't like doing laundry. So in that moment when I have a pile of laundry, would I feel more free to just be like, I'm not going to do the laundry, and, a little bit happier to go do something else, like go walk in the woods? That would bring me a lot of joy rather than doing the laundry. But in the long run, I feel free and joyful when I get to just go to my closet and pull out some clean clothes, or I know where my favorite leggings are, because, we all got our favorite pair of black leggings. That makes me feel happier. That makes me feel more free, because then my time is even more freed up because I'm not having to look for clothes that I don't know if they're in the clean laundry, dirty laundry, where are they? So you get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I'd rather spend that, 15 minutes or whatever folding the laundry and putting it away to have that extended time of the ease of just grabbing the clothes and putting them on and not being stressed about it. The same can be said about, this is a big one, food and physical health. So a healthy diet and physical health. Oh man, this is a big one for me this year. It's going to be a big one for sure. Part of feeling freedom and joy, at least for me, and I think for a lot of people too, we want to feel comfortable in our bodies. We want to feel good in our bodies. We want to feel strong and healthy. And I think a bird just flew at my side of my house. Poor little bird. I hope it's okay. Anyway, we all want to feel good in our bodies, healthy, strong, and feel good. And that is the ultimate, to me, physically of feeling freedom and joy. Like I want to feel joyful about my body. I want to feel free and not have like aches and pains and inflammation and stuff, because that's not free. I don't want to be imprisoned basically in my body. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to make some sacrifices. You know, I'm going to have to not eat that piece of chocolate cake, even though I want it. Like, will that piece of chocolate cake make me feel joyful? Yeah, it would. But is it really going to be helpful in the long run? Maybe not. And again, I'm not going to go totally into like diet and eating habits and all that in this, but I mean, because I also am a big believer in like, you can splurge every now and then. You know, if it's been like a month and you haven't had any sweets, like, and you're at a birthday party, like splurge, enjoy that moment of freedom and joy, and eat that piece of chocolate cake. But you see where I'm going with this? Like it's, you know, would I rather sit on my couch and play some Black Ops? Sure. Should I maybe instead do, you know, 40 minutes of yoga? Probably. You know, does the video game in that moment bring me a little more joy and I feel free making the decision of playing the video game? Yeah. But in the long run, I'll feel better and more nourished and more free and more happy by doing what I should be doing, kind of thing. And so that's kind of the idea of freedom and joy isn't always easy. Sometimes we have to do the things that we don't want to do. Another example is of kind of where I'm reevaluating my idea of freedom and my idea of joy. And for the longest time, I thought that to feel truly free and joyful, like I need to be working from home. I need to be working for myself, making my own hours, you know, sticking it to the man and not working that 9 to 5. And I started to realize that no, like working for myself and working at home was kind of starting to make me feel imprisoned. And I'm not saying that this is for everybody. And who knows, even down the road, maybe this will change. I mean, we are humans and we fluctuate and things change. But at least in this moment of my life, I was realizing that me working at home was actually the exact opposite of freedom and joy. Were there elements that I liked and brought me happiness? Yes. Were there moments that I felt free because I could go, you know, hike in the woods in the middle of the day if I wanted to? Yes. But ultimately, I was feeling a little more stressed and I was feeling isolated because I was working from home and I'm not a big social butterfly person, so I don't like go out of my way to socialize. So yeah, and then the money aspect too, when you're working for yourself, you know, it's some months are really good, some months are not so great. And that was really starting to weigh on me as well, of the unpredictability of an income. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I actually want to have a job outside of the house where I have regularly scheduled work hours, because I realized that to me, freedom is knowing, oh, I worked X amount of hours this week, I'm definitely going to make X amount of money. And that to me is more of a freeing feeling, because I'm not having that stress of, oh, am I going to make this money this month? You know, is X amount of people going to sign up for this class? That stress is removed when I'm working a, you know, set amount of hours each week, and that makes me feel free. So it's kind of crazy when you really start to think about what really makes you feel free and joyful. You may notice that you're having to completely reevaluate your ideas of freedom. Like that was such a huge one to me. I'm like, oh my God, I actually feel more free and joyful going to a job with like normal hours. And it was so weird to me. And I feel more joyful too, because I'm getting out of my house. I'm socializing with other humans face to face. And that was making me feel more free and joyful. And that was just, that one was a big like, wow moment for me. So, you know, if any of this is kind of resonating with you, like take a moment, really think about like, what would make you feel joyful and free? And it may not necessarily be what you are first thinking of. Let me see. I'll do like one more example. Okay. So like dishes, I don't like doing the dishes either, but I like coming down in the morning to a empty sink, a clean, well, relatively clean. My kitchen could probably be a little more clean, but relatively clean kitchen. You know, that to me feels so much more free and joyful when I get to come down to a not cluttered kitchen and make a pot of coffee and have my coffee in the morning and not see all of the clutter and the dirty dishes, that makes me feel happier and more joyful. And I'm willing to not feel free and joyful for the time being to do some dishes in exchange for the feeling of freedom and joy that waking up to a clean kitchen gives me. So just for today, I urge you, if you're listening to this, to kind of maybe reevaluate the things that make you feel joyful or free. And maybe also see, are there moments where you're sacrificing the long-term freedom and joy for the short-term return? You know, like, are you caving to that piece of chocolate cake to have that immediate feeling of joy? Or do you maybe want to sacrifice that immediate feeling of joy, put the cake aside, and then feel better about it in the long run? So that's kind of just what I wanted to talk about there. And yeah, that's it. All right. Have a good day. Bye.